welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Roxanne, the Tiny Taster, and today's recipe is Kopra Pak. Now, I don't think it's fair to really call this a Parsi recipe because it's not a traditional Parsi recipe that the community has created. It's more a recipe that we've adopted and tweaked a little bit. So I will say this is Parsi style Kopra Pak because this is how we make it. Of course, recipes change from house to house. Some people add mawa in this, some people add condensed milk, some people don't add the color, but the Parsis like to add the color. So take it for whatever it is. This is a recipe that I make and I like and my family really enjoys. I have made a mistake somewhere in between, so I'm going to show you that in the video. But as always, you'll have the written recipe down below. Just check the link in the description box, ingredients, measurements, everything, so you won't go wrong. And of course, you'll know from the mistakes that I made. So without any further ado, I hope you enjoy this. If you do, as always, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And without any further ado, let's get cooking.
To your pot, you will add your ghee, melt it a little bit, and then add in all your grated coconut. Now, please be careful when you're using freshly grated coconut. Make sure to avoid all those brown bits that you can see. I made a mistake and had so many brown bits, so you'll get parts of the husk in your Kopra Pak, and that's not very nice. So just be careful when you're grating it. Now, heat it on the pan and let this cook for about 2 to 3 minutes just so that the coconut browns a little bit. Once the coconut has roasted on a low flame, not too long, just a couple of minutes, you will add in your milk. Now, I made a cardinal sin with this recipe and I ended up adding too much milk. Now, this was just the right amount of milk that I needed. It was 1 cup. I ended up adding another cup to this. I miscalculated. So I'll leave the correct amount and ingredients in the list down below. It's on my website. The link is in the description box. Please check that out. But you can see that there is too much milk in this already. And do you notice all the brown bits floating? Here's my second cup that I've added in. Too much liquid, way too much. But anyway, you see all the brown bits that are floating? That's pieces of husk that I was telling you about from the grated coconut. So make sure that you don't have this or you'll have a husky Kopra Pak. Now, whilst I'm cooking this, I add in my sugar and then my cardamom powder. I've used about 100 grams of sugar for this recipe because I don't like it very sweet, and I've mentioned footnotes in the blog post as well. So if you want it sweeter, if you like your mithai really sweet, then please add 200 or perhaps even 300 grams of sugar, entirely up to you. So the sugar is added, we've got the milk, you've got your cardamom powder for flavoring. You could even add a pinch of vanilla essence. I haven't, but you could if you'd like to. And you just keep cooking this down. Now, essentially, this needs to cook till the milk thickens and evaporates. You cannot have so much liquid. In fact, you must not have any liquid. So as you can see, I made a mistake. So I kept cooking this till it thickened and thickened, which took forever and a day. This does need patience. This recipe will take a good 20 to 30 minutes of cooking time, so please be patient with it. You can see it starting to thicken up a little bit, but it's still not as thick as it needs to be. The liquid needs to completely evaporate and just the coconut needs to be this thickened mixture. But anyways, I keep cooking it down. And then to this, you will add in your cream. It can be cooking cream or whipped cream. I just used regular cream, so it thickens it slightly. You'll start notice that it starts bubbling and it is thickening, but it does still take time. If you have put too much liquid and you want to correct it, you can of course add more grated coconut to thicken it up and a little bit more cream as well, which I did eventually, but still just make sure that you do not goof up and have so much liquid, and make sure that you have patience to keep cooking it down. So whilst this is boiling and thickening, the last stage of this is to add in a little bit of food coloring. I've used red food coloring, which is typical. Most Parsis will put this in their Kopra Pak, but of course a lot of Gujaratis don't add coloring. A lot of other people just make normal barfi. So it's entirely optional. It's up to you. And then I ended up putting a little bit more because it wasn't enough color. I wanted it to be this bright pink thing that I grew up eating and enjoying. So as you can see, the color starts to take on its new lease of life. It's bubbling and thickening, and then you just keep cooking this till as much liquid gets evaporated. I ran out of patience at this point, and then I started to panic a little bit, which is also what happens when you're cooking and trying recipes. So please don't panic. I'm already telling you all the ways that I've goofed up and made mistakes, so you don't have to. But you can see me boiling it over here just so that the milk thickens faster as much as possible. And then once this is done, you will turn off your flame, and then you're going to grease your pan or your tin where you're going to put this mixture into. So now you can see me draining out as much liquid as possible and then putting it in my greased glass tray. But you can still see so much liquid that is leaching out. There should be no liquid. This mixture should have absolutely no liquid, just a thick mixture of the Kopra Pak, or of the barfi as a lot of people like to call it. But you will keep adding this in and then press it down firmly so that it takes shape. I like to garnish this with some chopped almonds. You could do it with some chopped pistachios or any nuts really. And then you will let this mixture cool down completely to room temperature, and then I pop it into the fridge as well. And then once it cools, it hardens and it sets into a nice thick mithai-like texture. Now, I had some remaining liquid from the batch, as you can see, because there was so much liquid. I tried to scoop out all the coconut. So what I did is I added more coconut and cooked this. Now you can see this texture, the liquid is so much less than before, but still there's too much liquid in this. So you have to cook it down completely till it evaporates completely and you have a nice thick mixture. So I just ended up putting this into a second smaller dish. So I have ended up with so much Kopra Pak, but we all enjoy it. So I'm glad, and I'm very, very happy it turned out delicious. Not as sweet as other mithais, just enough sweetness for my family and me. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Please do check out the recipe, the detailed recipe in the blog post. Like this video, share it, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys very, very soon.